Hey guys, it's What Ifs here. This is going to be episode one of that is episode zero of What If Bell was a Necromancer. And yes, the way I'm going to be doing basically like my series from now on, it's going to be two what ifs for Deku, then two what ifs for Bell. Then after Bell, there's going to be two what ifs for Deku again. If you guys want me to do some other animes, maybe like what's it called, Black Clover or something like that, yeah, I can also do that if you guys really want to. But anyways, I chose What If Bell Was a Necromancer because I didn't see that anybody has made a series about this yet. So I simply took the opportunity and, well, basically to make it my own. So, we start off basically in the ancient times. That was when the dungeons were, basically the dungeon still wasn't here. And the monsters were roaming the entire area. And we basically see how the gods descend upon Earth for the first time. And that's when we meet Belle's father. He was an ingenious alchemist who was doing much good for the world, creating healing potions which could basically heal, how do you call it, severed arms, making medicines, and also extremely other types of genius crafts in basically everything, in armor, weapons, and all that other good stuff until he creates by accident a potion which can basically melt somebody all the way to their core, basically making it so that they just a pile of bones. Now he makes this and accidentally uses it, that it falls. And because that potion wasn't purified, it was in a basically it was a gas. And when that started to spread along the city, let's just say that he accidentally killed a couple of gods, along with several thousand other people in the city. So, yeah, the gods were astonished at what he did by the fact of how valuable it was to kill monsters. But that's when they remembered that he sort of killed three of their own kind, along with several thousand humans. And well, they sort of chased him off, that being they wanted him dead. That is, the humans know. The human king actually basically knew how good he was at his job, and that new potion could literally be used, how do I say this? Like the three great monsters which the humans gave quests for the gods to defeat. That basically being like the Titan, the gigantic sea monster, and the dragon. Like if he would have used that against the dragon would have died. That's how powerful the potion was. But well, after he gets banished, he goes to a village in a different country. And there he meets Belle's mother. She used to be a mercenary, but she sort of gave up on that life and went to farming. Basically retired after 10 years in service. And well, both of them fell in love, and soon after they got married. Now, Belle's father still continued to work on his alchemy, and well, in that time he also created pain. That is, potions which relieve pain, simply just so that his wife would have an easier time with Belle. And yes, although Belle is going to have a sibling here, with that being his twin sister. And basically his twin sister is gonna look like a female version of him. That being like she's going to have long white hair, and instead of red eyes, she's going to have pink eyes. So, yeah. And well, when they finally get, that is, when Belle's and, what should I call his sister? Let's go for just, yeah, Alice. Alice sounds good. So when Belle and Alice are born, basically, that is, their father is extremely proud and is basically like every single other anime father which loves their children, basically ecstatic, just like crying and all of that stuff. While their mother was a bit more compassionate, and I mean, like, she was also crying, but fancier? I don't exactly know how to say that, since in the anime trope it's basically like when the father laughs like whole hell, and the mother is just happy and just cries tears of joy. But anyways, getting a bit off track. As the years go by, Bell helps his father with alchemy, while Bell's twin sister is more interested in helping her mother, without doing house chores, and well, her mother also starts to train her how to wield a sword. And basically, that's how that goes. And for the next 7 more years, basically when they're currently 12 years old, both of them, Bell has become proficient at using alchemy, although nowhere near as good as his father. And well, that's when the church comes around. Let's say that it's the church of... who should it be? Let's say that it's the church of Odin. And I know it doesn't make a lot of sense like for him to have paladins, but you know, fuck it, he has paladins. And basically they're looking for Bell's father, and they were finally basically... After those 11 years, the gods finally made a good foothold on the round. Although the main difference in this one, in this What If, is basically also going to be in my, well, last What If Bell video. And I'm probably gonna be doing this for every single one, that being that there's like giant dungeons, the main dungeon located in Orario, and then there are some of the other, like you have big dungeons, then you have the one in Orario, which is the biggest and most dangerous one. Then you have the second largest. Let's say that they go up to 750 levels. Then you have the moderate ones, which are the third largest. They have up to 300 levels. Then you have the smaller dungeons, which aren't the smallest. They have like 50 to 100 levels. And then you have just like regular dungeons, that being like a cave filled with goblins, orcs, werewolves, and all that other crap. And let's also say that you do not need to be in a familia to level up. Well, that is, when you finally do become in a familia, it takes about 20% of all of the Excelia. The adventurer or whoever got all of that basically loses it immediately as he becomes a part of familia. But depending on how well they did, they can basically have over 20,000 stat points. So yeah, and they can also still be level 1. So yeah. And well, now let's get on with the story. So as the Paladins come to the village, they start looking for Bell's father, because the gods, when a god holds a grudge, they hold a fucking grudge. Whew. Just ask any other Greek hero which got on the god's bad side. Yeah. And well, they finally found him. They go ahead and arrest him, and basically try to arrest him and his entire family. But that's when he uses his own potions, basically a potion of blindness and a potion which basically poisons them. Although it doesn't kill them, but although he does blind them, the potion of poison doesn't work because they have divine protection from Odin. And... oh crap, wait, be right back, guys. Okay, so I believe that we left off with Bell's father blinding the Paladins. And then he takes his family and just starts running away, because they know that that village isn't safe anymore. And that's when they come into contact with, well, if... actually, beware for spoilers, if any of you guys didn't see Danmachi Season 3. Let's say that they meet up with a Xeno. A Xeno is basically a monster which basically got reincarnated into a different body, and is basically like a smart monster. It's intelligent and also doesn't attack anybody immediately. Now Bell's father is extremely terrified because there's a monster right in front of them. Let's say that this monster is a... you know, like those golems, which are, you know, like from level, I believe, 17 to 22. Like those guys who have like only one eye. Let's say that that wasn't that guy, except it was an evolved version of him. he basically has like... actually, wait, no, we're back. Okay, so let's say that the golem basically looks like this, and well, it can also talk. And compared to an average human, this golem, the average human was like 5.9 feet. Let's say that this golem is 11 feet tall, so almost 2 times, that is, yeah, almost 2 times the size of a regular human. But anyways, he actually starts to speak, which freaks out Belle's father, mother, and also his sister Alice, because they didn't know that monsters could talk. Or was this a monster? But that's when the monster simply explained that it's a monster which has intelligence. And well, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I'm being interrupted a lot. But anyways, the golem offers them help, and well, they take it. The golem takes them to a cave where there are other Xenos, not being monsters who died or were killed, and then basically reincarnated again. I believe I said that already, although I'm not sure. I didn't check the rest of the video. Hope you guys don't mind if I said the same thing again. But anyways, let's say that they find like some lizard men, some of the weaker monsters, some trolls, and that's pretty much it. And well, the golem is like the main guy there. He's like the most powerful. In terms of like adventurers, he's like level 5. And well, as that was going on, they basically settled in there, with Belle's father actually making healing potions for the Xenos to take. They were extremely grateful, and well, they had a, how do you say it, let's say a new type of monster. Basically how do you say it? Crap, how can I forget this? Let's say that they meet a type of dragonoid, not being like the same one as Vilna from, or I think that's her name, from the season 3, like the dragon girl, which was captured by the Icarus Familia. So let's say that there's another one, but except that this one has both of her wings and has a tail, but she's adept at many kinds of magic. And well, she offers to tell both Belle's father and mother if their children have any oddity at magic. Now, she goes over to Alice, Belle's sister, and she finds out that Belle's sister has a high affinity for fire, and also, let's say, fire and curse, that is fire and ward magic. Ward magic basically being able to set up like wards. They're like something similar to Nordic runes, I believe, although not completely. She can make up like, she can do walls like ward of fire resistance and that type of stuff. And basically magical abilities, just like you guys said. Also, just a minute, I'm gonna get back to here. There you go. So, anyways, but when she goes ahead and tries to do Belle, she feels like he has several magical affinities, but she doesn't know what. It's almost like they are locked. She doesn't know how exactly, but yeah. Anyways, they spend another year and a half basically traveling with the Xenos. And well, in that time, Alice becomes even more proficient with basically, how do you say it, with using weapons, and well, using the ingredients which the monsters gave them, or well, the Xenos gave to Belle's father. He was able to make a lot of different potions, including the potion of death, which he accidentally used to kill the 3 gods and thousands of humans in the city. And well, he makes only one of them and puts them there, basically as an emergency use. Although instead of making it a gas, he makes it into an liquefied state. And after a couple of weeks, as basically Belle's father is gathering herbs, he hears something behind him. He turns around and is met with a spear right at his hand. And well, what is in front of him is a holy knight, along with several paladins and adventurers. And well, Bel's father has basically a bounty on him, that being, let's say, 25,000 gold. Yeah, it doesn't go very well, especially because then one of the Xeno comes up and the adventurers are like, they think that he actually has something to do with monsters, which makes them even more basically pissed off at him. But that's when the golem arrives, and well, let's just say that he starts pummeling them along with the other Xenos. Although that's when a level 4 adventurer comes around. So basically, they were considered one of the most powerful adventurers at the time, because still, this was only 11 years after the, that is only 13 years, or well, more accurately, 13 and a half years after the gods descended onto Earth. And adventurers were still pretty rare, and ones which reached level 4, or that is a level higher than 2 in these 11 and a half years, were extremely rare. Although there were some which even reached level 6, that being like the most powerful of humanity, or well, mortals. And well, the golem is outmatched by him and eventually gets almost destroyed. That's when the other Xenos basically attack with full force and start pushing them back. Now the golem helps Bel's father and gets them back to the cave, but when they get there, they just see a bunch of dead Xenos everywhere, and a group of paladins and holy knights basically went there. And well, Bel's mother was able to, with the help of the dragon, that being the dragonoid Xeno, she was able to save Alice, although Bel's mother was sadly killed, and Bel wasn't able to basically follow them. And well, when they came, they basically just see 20 paladins and holy knights, basically just having Bel as a hostage. Now, when they see him and also the hurt golem, they get pretty confident, and well, they stab Bel right in basically his chest. Now, and that's when all of them basically go off to kill Bel's father, and well, destroy the golem. Yeah. And keep in mind that Bel was friends with like most of them. Like when he was 11 years old and just came there, the golem was basically like his best friend. Like he was basically their grandfather, because the golem was pretty old. Well, he remembered his past life. He was like 300 years old if you were to put it all together. And well, sadly, he got destroyed by the level 4 adventurer. And well, their father was also killed in front of Bel's eyes. As Bel basically staggered, another level 2 adventurer this time shot an arrow basically to him. Yeah, this adventurer was willing to get the money, simply they would just kill his entire family. Now, the paladins which were there said that this guy, that Bel's father, only had Bel as his son, and that they killed his wife already. And well, as that was going on, Bel just knocks over a bunch of potions. So basically a potion of healing and a potion of poison and a potion of basically sturdiness, endurance, decomposition, blindness, pain effects. All of them get thrown down to Bel, with one of the potions being the potion of death. As soon as that splashes onto him, you just get a shriek, as all of his bones and flesh starts to melt away. Now, the level 4 adventurer and his father, that being his father, is horrified to see what just happened to Bel. And well, that's because of all the potions there. The death potion actually gets engulfed, basically takes over most of them. Meaning that, guess what? The potion of death is yet again basically in the air. It's a gas now. And that's when most of the Holy Knights actually started dropping dead, even though they have an increased endurance towards that. And well, the level 4 adventurer also just starts to run, although he takes Bel's father with him to basically present him to the gods. to have him executed. And well, after some time, Alice, including the Dragonoid, which is basically now, she was like an aunt to Alice and Belle. Well, that's when they come, basically when they came there, they just saw everyone dead. They couldn't believe it, and that's when they also saw in a body with basically all of its flesh melted away, with only the bones remaining. And they saw that he was wearing Belle's clothes. They knew what happened because they knew about the death potion. They were horrified. Alice saw her mother dead, so he buried her, along with her brother. And they went away. Several months had passed, and well, that's when Belle opened his eyes. Or, well, what he thought were his eyes. He started to basically crawl away because he was underneath dirt. As soon as he did, and as he looked at his hand, he saw his bones. He saw no flesh, and he got freaked out by it. Including to the fact that he didn't know what had happened. He lost a lot of memories, but he knew about his family and also basically his closest friends there and how they were killed. So yeah, he got pissed. Also, one thing more which he noticed was a purplish black orb of just basically pure magic, which was inside of him now, like where his basically where his spine was. He was located there, like in the middle of his body, like beneath the ribs and in between his how do you say it, abdomen area. It was basically there in between those two. And well, as he got back up, he just started wandering. He didn't know where to go, but he saw something glowing there. He saw the magical crystals of basically all of the Xenos, which weren't taken because at this point they didn't exactly know for what they were used for, even though 11 and a half years passed. They just sort of killed them and then used those stones as jewelry. Although the adventurer simply saw greater profit in taking Belle's father, even though he took all of those, even though at the start of the anime, when it basically happened, if you had that many crystals, you could get like several million of their currency, which they use in Aurario. But, well, Belle simply took it. He didn't know why, just that he had it. Hit the golem's core, and well, he just started walking. Eventually, he found his way to a practitioner of black magic. And well, at first he thought that Belle was a monster, but that's when he heard Belle yell out, "Please don't shoot. Please don't kill me, or Belle, don't hurt me." The sorcerer was extremely surprised by the fact, and he, well, didn't exactly know what to say. This was the first time that he saw... Well, he knew that there were some monsters which could talk, because at this point the Xenos were getting more and more rapid. But, well, he never saw a skeleton, and that's when Belle simply said that he was a human, which somehow turned into a skeleton after he died. And, well, the black magic practitioner, or the sorcerer, basically guided Belle. He took him back to a secret hideout, which there were basically Xenos and all of the other people which were just thrown away by the gods. This was the time when the evil corporation that is the syndicate known as Evilus, basically the main bad guys in Aurario, came to be. Simply because they were persecuted with, well, the gods chasing after them for using dark magic or sorcery, and also using different forbidden types of alchemy. That being in the gods' eyes, if the gods had never came to Earth, the evil would have just been another syndicate, basically basically humanity. But because of them, it turned into an evil organization. But as they basically came there, Bell noticed someone. He noticed his sister, Alice, and also the Dragonite. But before he could even get to them... Okay, so we left off with... Yeah, sorry, I got interrupted again. So we left off with Bell finding his sister and the Dragonoid. Although he really couldn't even get to them, because, well, mainly... How could he? The sorcerer basically blocked him and said that they're like that dragon is one of the higher ups, so they can't exactly just go and say hi to her or to her now apprentice, being Belle's sister. And well, Belle's simply nods. And as soon as she enters into the room, well, all of the dark practitioners like dark magic, like apprentices, mages, sorcerers, and well, that's when the orb of dark magic just starts to glow. Before any of them could even react, it just flies up to Bell and smashes into his magical core. And well, it absorbs all of the dark magic, with Bell being confused, the sorcerer being confused, the mages being confused, and all their apprentices being confused. And well, that's when they start feeling dark energy from Bell, although a different type. One which they never exactly felt, because to them, rising the dead was, or just gaining immortality was considered impossible for them. And well... That's when they simply got another one, and well, this one didn't go towards Bell. And so the sorcerer began teaching Bell magic. Well, first he went to the access to see what sort of affinities he had. And this time, unlike the first time when the Dragonoid basically went ahead and tested him, they found out that he had affinity for dark magic, curses, runic magic, another form of curses, and well, basically runes, although not Nordic, just like regular runes which you can make. And well, they also found out that he had a high affinity for shadow magic, and also basically something which they couldn't read out, because necromancy wasn't even supposed to exist. Because, yeah, that wasn't a forbidden magic which even the gods feared, because technically, powerful enough, he could resurrect a dead god to become an undead god. So, yeah. And by the way, if you guys are asking me what it's going to be, it's basically going to be Bell versus the gods. So, yeah, no Hestia. Like, I will be talking about her. And there will be somebody who's going to like replace Bell and get like all of his skills, like the Argonaut trait. Although this is still like several thousand years in the past, like Hestia didn't even come to Earth at this point. Or well, actually, I'm not sure what the continent is called. I think it's called like Aurariel, but the city itself is called Aurariel. I'm just gonna call it basically Earth. That's where the gods didn't descend to, the mortal realm. And well, he begins teaching Bell the different types of magic, with Bell eventually getting a hold on every single type he has, except the unknown one. They still don't know what that is. And basically with Bell training, let's say that it takes another 5 years, so he's currently 17 and a half years old, by human standards. Although, weirdly enough, he did grow rather large, actually. Like, basically, and also this is going to be him. He's going to be wearing, like, armor and also have the staff. Although, instead of that skull, it's going to have the magical stone of the golem, which he had in a corrupted version, along with several other magical stones. But, well, that's when Bell is sent out to his first ever mission, and that is to attack in a camp of basically knights and regular militia. That is, in that camp there is basically 2 knights, there are 3 squires, and then like 20 different soldiers, basically, who are all, that is, 20 militia, which this knights are trying to train, because still, the monsters are still everywhere. That is, well, not exactly everywhere. The gods also began to intervene because, you know, Uranus, he did come here, but, well, yeah, his power was sort of diminished by the fact that Zeus, Hera, Ra, Odin, Thor, basically extremely powerful gods were also there, and he wasn't the most powerful anymore. Hell, I don't even think that he's the most powerful in the anime as well, but actually, I think he is, at least with the gods who are left. Except maybe Hera, although we don't know where Hera is in the anime currently. But anyways, I'm starting rambling, going it again. Basically, Bell is sent there to do that. And well, when he goes there, he steps on something accidentally. He steps on a monster crystal. He sees dozens of them. Rather worrying, because in a militia and 2 knights being able, along with their basically 23 militia, and 2 knights being able to kill dozens of monsters is a bit unheard of. And as he goes there, he also sees an eternal paladin. And an eternal paladin basically being a paladin which had gained immortality through basically a different god of his, that his religion was basically, that his faith was that good. And this one was a level 3 adventurer also, or at least was before. Now he's a paladin, or an immortal paladin. And if you guys are wondering, I'm just gonna say that like everyone who wants to get levels and all of that starts off as an adventurer, and then they can like choose different familias. Like basically, if they join a Japanese familia, they can become like samurai or any other class which they used to have. I'm gonna have to do a lot more research for this. What if? I'm gonna be doing I have a lot of different ideas for this. I just need to research them a bit more. If they go to a Nordic one, females can become Valkyries, the men can become Vikings, basically rune bearers, and all that other good stuff. And well, it just happened that this one was a paladin. And well, Bell doesn't know what to do. And well, he decides to go ahead and train, basically to rise up his own level, because he was stuck learning magic, and he's currently level 1. And by the way, if you guys are wondering what he's currently wearing, it's basically this, except he doesn't have his staff, and he does have a book, but he doesn't have his staff, and he also doesn't have the mask. He basically only has the hood. Basically, he's wearing the same type of armor. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was interrupted yet again. But basically, Bell is wearing just like a regular black hoodie, or like in a hooded cloak, with also, how do you call it? Those things with gauntlets, metal gauntlets, basically also black, with red markings on them. They're basically the symbols of the sorcerers with which use black magic. And well, he decides to get stronger. He basically sees monsters and starts killing them for like the crystals, because he can use those crystals and basically use them and put them in his magical core, which is, like I said, there. And also he actually wears armor at that part, because like he can regenerate most of his bones using black magic, but the magical core, he's not sure, but he also doesn't want to find out what happens if somebody destroys it. Because if he really did become a monster, if somebody destroys that, it's the end of him. And well, he begins using curses and also the magical spellbook to just throw black magic at them, not being like using spikes made of just pure energy, like black magic. Just spikes being thrown at them and all of that. And well, he eventually starts to notice something. The monster crystals which he basically took from the monsters he killed, he can feel some sort of energy from them. He begins to experiment, and then eventually one of the stones breaks. But when it does break, it brings up an undead version of basically an orc which he had killed. Now Bell is astonished, surprised, and also a bit fearful, because what the hell did he just do, and is that thing on my side? Immediately he basically says that the orc just takes one knee, basically bowing down to his master. And after that, Bell knows what he's going to do. But there's just one small problem. Bell kills basically most of the orcs around him. He uses like one orc to kill one other. Then he basically, how do you say it, breaks the magical stone crystal of the other orc. Now he has 2, and that's how he went until he went to 12 orcs. Although now he noticed something. He can't have any more. Like his current limit for having basically, how do you say it, summons is 12. And that's when he simply says that he's gonna get a more powerful undead. With him still not practically sure how to use this well, but he, in the time when he went like experimenting, like killing goblins and all of that crap, he notices that he can actually, if he uses his black magic, and well, that is his magic which he doesn't even know he had, and well, he uses like in a blood, not of a god, but like of something else, like a magical crystal, to see his stats. Now he sees that his skill has finally been shown, Necromancy. When he goes ahead and sees the stats, basically like the more in-depth version, it's basically any monster, human, or any other living creature, including unliving creatures, basically golems and ghosts. Basically, you can bind golems and ghosts to you using black magic, but anything which is I think a lot of with like explaining. Also, like, sorry guys, I got interrupted yet fucking again. So I think that I was explaining like how his necromancer power goes. So basically, any unliving beings like golems and ghosts and other undead, he can put under his control if he like binds them. And well, yeah. While living, basically beings, being everything, he can even make ants. That is, you know, like the trees. He can also bind them to him to like do whatever he wants. Also, dragons, orcs, humans, elves, gods, demigods. He can basically make them all into undead. And well, he gets astonished by what he can do. And that's when he sees another version for his skill. If he was to try to summon 100 different types of the same beast, or well, the same monster or human, or basically 100 orcs more specifically, he can fuse them, basically fuse their magical crystals to make even better monsters or more powerful monsters. Although he can only use that, how do you say this, if he has enough mana inside of him. And well, currently his magic stat is over 700, so yeah, it's extremely powerful. Although, also one more thing, his endurance, it's 1000, his agility, 300, his strength is also basically 760, because he is strong, because even though he's a skeleton, he has immense physical power, or prowess, shall I say. Now, what else? His endurance, stamina and endurance are also, how do you say it, over 900, with his magic being 700, I believe. So anyways, each time he fuses on a monster, he uses up his magical stat. So he uses up 50 of it. So yeah, every single time he wants to summon a more powerful creature, he has to spend 50, how do you say it, stat points in magic to it. Although the magic points actually do come back after some time, although it's extremely slow. Basically, like every single hour you get 0.5 points back. So after 3 days, or 2.5 days, he gets all 50 of his status points back. And also, summoning an undead creature uses his mana, so, well, he doesn't spend any stat points on that. And that's what he begins to do. He basically begins to, how do you say this? Use the undead, or, well, start killing kills even more orcs and just begins to make them into the undead. Until he finds basically a hidden monster in an orc chieftain, which is a lot stronger than the regular orcs. Anyways, he sends his orcs at him, all 12 of them. Well, actually no, let's say that his Necromancer skill was getting powered up, so he could now summon 17 orcs. Or well, that is, he can make them into the undead. And well, as he simply uses them, they attack the chieftain. The chieftain basically kills 11 of them, after he's finally taken down by Bell using one of his dark magic spells, that being basically a blade which shows up and cuts off the chieftain's head. And well, yeah, now Bell summoned the chieftain. He fails like 6 times until he uses his, what's it called? He takes the remaining crystal shards of his other undead and basically throws them. No, not throws them, he absorbs them. So yeah, now he's basically, when he does that, all of his stats rise by 1. Well, that is the magical stones he gets. Depending on how powerful the monster is, you can get even more, or what abilities the monster had. So if he kills let's say a golem and absorbs his crystal, he gets endurance, strength, and stamina. If he absorbs, let's say, a human which can use magic, he gets magic and, well, endurance. That is magic and stamina, because to cast magic you also need stamina. And well, as that's going on, he's finally able to summon the chieftain. Now, the chieftain's stats is basically 2,700 in strength, 2,000 in endurance, 1,200 in stamina, 2,000 in, what's it called? 900 in agility, and then 0 in magic, so he can't use magic. And his skills are basically roar, which demoralizes, it's basically a status effect. So yeah, and I know that like monsters which can use status effects are like higher levels than the orc chieftain, but I say, nah, fuck it, this is good enough. So yeah, basically the chieftain has that one skill. When he roars, he demoralizes all enemy units by 20%, and he gives morale boost to all of his allied units. Although sadly the undead don't really need a morale boost now, do they? And simply going in like that, he thinks that he finally has enough. Although the orc chieftain, let's say he was like his 100 orc summon, so now he starts to fuse. Let's say that he fuses 3 of his orcs. And from orcs they get upgraded to, well, orc warriors, which their stats are like doubled when they fuse together. So yeah, now although each evolved monster takes up the same amount of slots as the amount of monsters which was used to fuse it, so those 2 warrior orcs took 4 slots instead of just 2, because they were used basically 2 orcs in a summon each time. So that's how it works, Bell remarks. And well, he then summons a further 5 orcs, because, you know, now he has 8 regular orcs, 2 of orc warriors, and 1 orc chieftain. And well, he finally thinks that he has enough, basically, soldiers to attack the human militia units, along with the 2 knights and also the paladin. And that's exactly what happens. He goes ahead and fights against the paladin. That is, the militia just hear a roar, basically one rainy day when a mist rolls around. That's when they see a pair of gleaming red eyes come from the forest. They see somebody, basically a dark sorcerer. The militia immediately call for the paladin, and the paladin basically just jumps in front of them. Basically says the whole shtick about killing evil beings like the sorcerer, which is a dark magic. And well, after that, they hear a roar. that being the chieftain just breaks several of the trees in front of him and demoralizes all the troops, except the paladin. The paladin has a skill which basically doesn't allow him to have negative effects, which are basically more powerful than his level. And well, the paladin simply remarks, "Is that all that you got?" And then out of the forest, 8 more orcs come out along with 2 orc warriors. And well, all of them basically are looking like undead, rotten flesh, and well, they also have swords and all of that. So, yeah, the paladin is now basically not terrified or horrified. Well, yeah, he's horrified because he simply says, "What the hell did you do to them?" Because he doesn't feel any empathy for the orcs, but he feels empathy for what the hell this guy might do, because and also that Bell might be more powerful than him. And well, as he says that, Bell orders the orcs to attack the militia. The 2 orc warriors go up against the knights, and Bell sends the orc chieftain against the paladin. And well, as all that was going on, his orc warriors fought against the knights, with both of them winning. Basically, both of the knights are dead. The paladin fights against the orc chieftain and is actually able to kill him, but he can't really, how do I say it, enjoy the feeling of winning, because then Bell simply comes up along with the 2 orc warriors. He blocks Bell's magical attack with his shield and uses his other hand with his sword to block the 2 attacks coming from the orc warriors. And well, that's when Bell uses a different type of magic, and a curse. And well, curses a curse which basically does give a negative effect, but it doesn't work, since just like I said, the paladin can't take negative effects from monsters which are lower level than him. Oh crap, sorry guys, my bad, there we go. And well, as that was going on, the militia along with the squires were fighting against the orcs. Now, like, you needed like 2 militia, is like the same equivalent to 1 orc, and there were 8 orcs and 20 militia, although the militia were demoralized while the orcs had still the morale boost. Although when the militia saw that the orc chieftain was dead, they basically regained their courage and started fighting more regularly. But at this point they had lost 9 of their militia members, while the orcs only lost 1 orc. So it was basically 7 orcs versus 11 militia and 3 squires. And the squires, they were a bit more harder to deal with than militia, but well, as all that was going on, that is, as they were simply putting up a good fight yet again, Bell started using different types of magic to try and weaken the paladin, while his 2 orc warriors basically went ahead and attacked him. And that's when the paladin used this moment to basically jump at Bell and use this holy attack to go up against Bell. The holy attack lands with Bell not really expecting that much, but then he takes immeasurable damage, like he gets flown into a... He basically feels the pain, like that actually happened to him. And well, now he knows. Holy magic is extremely effective against him. When the paladin sees this, he is surprised, because holy magic is usually only used to defend against curses or heal against them. But now he actually gets surprised, because can this thing which he is fighting be so evil that holy magic actually works on him? But in the same way like that, curse magic is basically weak against holy magic, but yeah. And well, as that happens, the paladin hears a cry. What was that? Well, all of the militia, including the 3 squires, are dead. Now the knight is facing up against 2 orc warriors, 6 orcs, because another one of them died, and 1 Bell, which is currently pissed off because he actually felt damage for the first time in 7 years. And well, as that was going on, Bell simply noticed something, and well, that's when he used his magic. The paladin heard one of the knights say, the night the paladin goes basically like this. Wait, Sir George, you're alive. But instead of getting another greetings from him, he just sees red eyes and he is horrified. As his friend has become an undead. Now he basically sees what Bell did to the orcs. And well, now he's actually terrified, because that means that all of the militia around him can also be basically created into, well, undead. And that's exactly what happens. 7 of the militia, all 3 squires, and then also both of the knights also get summoned. So it's basically 2 knights, 2 undead knights, 2 undead orc warriors, 6 orcs, and then 7 militia and 3 squires, all fighting against the paladin. And the fury of attacks happens. And then finally, Bell uses his final magical attack and pierces basically right through the armor of the paladin. But, well, and that's when he basically tries to bring him back from the dead. It doesn't work. It says that he needs to sacrifice 300 of his magic stat points to be able to summon him. And well, although that will make him severely weaker, he can just get that back by using magical stones. So he uses it, and then he gets basically the warning that he doesn't have enough space in his party, or well, his small band, his merry band of basically undead monsters and humans. So he dispels 6 orcs and tries to do it again. He can't. He still doesn't have enough room. He dispels all of his militia. And then finally, the paladin finally returns back from the dead, basically looking like this. So yeah, that's how the paladin looks like now. And well, after that, Bell simply goes ahead and reports back to the organization which is currently working for Evilus. And well, tells them that his mission was complete. And well, they're extremely proud of him. And also that he has that basically behind him they see 2 undead knights and 1 undead paladin. So, or well, they just see like all 3 of them wearing armor, so they do not see what they look like. They ask him what's about that, and he simply says, "These are my minions." With them simply going, "Alright," since he doesn't want to tell them what exactly his powers are. And well, I think that's a good way to end the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good day. This has been the episode 0 of What If Bell Was a Necromancer.